It's helping people to understand what's happening out there and how, with new, fresh ideas and a new way of looking at things, you can create these extraordinary teams of diversity.
Yeah, what the tech firms have been doing is creating what are called self-organizing teams, but I think you could do it in most any business environment. A diverse team is set up to pursue a difficult problem. The problem may be so difficult that you don't even understand what the problem is. But let's say the problem is we want to delight customers. So we know we have a lot of customers. We want more customers. How do we actually go and delight them? So put a really diverse and interesting and talented group of people and give them the task of coming up with some answers and give them some time. So that's kind of the model that we have in mind here. And how do you do that? The thought is, first of all, make sure there's no whiners or complainers in the team. That's the weapon of mass destruction of any team. Next,
anything in life.
Anything in
Get
life.
rid of the whiners.
Get rid of the whiners. And give them some goals and give them absolute responsibility to pursue it and some kind of a time frame, a month, let's say.
Absolute responsibility.
That's
Wow.
the most important point. If everything is going to be double-checked and triple-checked by other people, then the team is just going to be pursuing it in a very rote way. If they actually believe that their results and their outcomes will be respected and acted upon, then you're going to find that they get highly motivated very quickly. So it's very important that they have real responsibility for a real project that really needs to be solved. It's important that the time frames be reasonable, a week, a month. And then if you're the boss, you should be spending your time listening very carefully, talking in a very open way, and thinking about how you can remove obstacles that may be in their way, as opposed to quote-unquote managing them. What can we do to help them achieve their goals? Tom Peters has a great little video on the web that says, what have you done in the last 24 hours to help one of your teams achieve their goals? And as a manager dealing with a team that is often working on a problem, that's how you can help.
Now, that sort of erases the concept of the star.
Right. The idea is that if the team is properly constructed and set upon an interesting problem and allowed to figure out how to organize themselves, they will do so. Somebody may rise as the spokesperson. Somebody else may rise as the engineer or the person who's going to take the notes or the person that's the kind of the captain. That's fine. They've got to figure that out. And that's very different from, let's say, a sports team where we use the word team, so we think of sports team. Well, a coach typically calls all the plays, decides who sits on which positions, and the team has to go out and play pretty much according to what is dictated to them. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the opposite of that. I think it's a very natural phenomenon. There's lots of examples throughout history of successful companies and successful teams doing this. We've all experienced it in our career. If you think back to a time that you really enjoyed working with your colleagues, whether it was in a nonprofit or in a school environment, if you think about it, you were probably working in a high-performance team. You had objectives that everybody understood, and people were willing to work late for it. So we've probably all experienced it one time or another. I think it's natural for bureaucratic organizations to not be tolerant of this and to step in and want to crush it and bring it back in. So a very common phenomenon. We've got a crisis. We need to solve the crisis. Let's put a team together. You can sort of hear that. Get some of our best people and work on it, and then they go and solve the crisis and so on. Oftentimes they're not even rewarded for it. They're just simply pulled back into the organization, and that's it. Thank goodness those great people were able to solve that particular problem. Now get back to your normal stations. That's the mistake.